today on our last lesson of the roller coaster of life, lesson 6. And today's lesson is about faithful to the end. How faithful is God? Well, we're going to find out today how faithful He is. Now, our main focus today is I must never give up and be faithful to God until the end. Okay, I think this is going to be a really neat story, and I can't wait to get into it. But first, Brian has one more roller coaster for us to test out today. Okay, Brian, you're on.
Hey everybody, it's me again, and it's time for another ride on the roller coaster life. Today, I'm riding a roller coaster called Wildfire. It is unbelievable. It's a high-flying, multi-looping, cobra-rolling coaster that will leave you breathless. Traveling at speeds of up to 66 miles per hour, Wildfire features a vertical drop of 15 stories, followed by 5 inversions, including a full loop, cobra roll, corkscrew, and high-speed spiral. Get ready to fly. But before I ride Wildfire, I want to tell you about a time when Elijah rode some fire of his own. No, I'm serious. He had lived his entire life completely obedient to God, and he knew that his life was drawing to a close. Elijah had chosen a very special young man to take his place to be the next prophet of God. That young man's name was Elisha. Now, Elisha had seen how Elijah had been faithful to God his entire life. So Elisha decided he was going to be faithful to Elijah until the very end. Elisha had several opportunities to leave, but he never did. Finally, he saw Elijah get taken up to heaven in a chariot of fire. Elisha saw the whole thing. It was amazing. He learned a very important lesson about being faithful to the very end. So today, you're going to learn that very same lesson. You're going to learn about how you need to be faithful to the end. No matter how many ups and downs the roller coaster of life throws at you, you've got to be faithful to the end. Yep. Well, this is it. Wildfire. It's going to be quite a ride. I'm not going to bail out. I'm going to be faithful to the end. Let's go. Here we go. Get ready. Yes. Here we go. Faithful to the end. And now you're going to get into your lesson about how Elijah did the exact same thing. No matter how many ups and downs come along, you got to be faithful to the end of the roller coaster life. See ya.
Wow, that was a cool roller coaster. Oh, I'm so excited, and Brian's right. It's time to get into our Bible story today. I can't wait. This is one awesome Bible story. So this Bible story is called Elijah's Chariot of Fire. I don't know if anybody heard this story, but we're about to find out what kind of chariot of fire we're talking about. right, let's begin. Elijah has had an incredibly interesting life, don't you think? It has been full of ups and downs. A true roller coaster life. Gotta do the roller coaster. Elijah knew that he wouldn't live forever and that he needed to have an assistant that he would teach all that God had taught him. So God led Elijah to a man named Elisha. Elijah took his cloak and put it on the shoulders of Elisha. This was a sign to Elisha that Elijah was calling him to follow. Elisha immediately left his family and followed Elijah. Don't get confused now, it's two different men. For many years, Elijah taught Elisha what it meant to be faithful to God. Through good times and bad, Elijah was faithful. Elisha saw this and learned about faithfulness. One day, Elijah knew that his time on earth was coming to an end. So he tells Elisha to go ahead and leave him. He tells Elisha that he is free to go do his own thing. But Elisha looks at Elijah and plainly tells him, "I will not leave you." A little bit later, Elijah and Elisha passed by some young prophets in the town of Bethel. The young prophets called out to Elisha, "Hey, don't you know that God is going to take your master from you today?" They knew that God was coming to get Elijah, and they were basically telling Elisha, "Hey, come join us. Your master isn't going to be around much longer." Elisha turned to Elijah and once again said, "I will not leave you." After all of this, Elijah asked Elisha, "What can I do for you before the Lord takes me from you?" Elisha answered, "I want to receive a double portion of your spirit." That meant that Elisha was asking for God to give him 2 times the amount of anointing and power he had given Elijah. Wow! Elijah was one of the most powerful prophets of all time, and Elisha was asking God to make him twice as powerful. That's crazy. Elijah responded, "You have asked a hard thing, but if you are with me when I am taken away, then God will do it for you." As they began walking a bit further, suddenly a chariot of fire appeared from heaven. It scooped up Elijah and carried him to heaven. On his way up to heaven, Elijah's cloak fell off of him and landed on the ground. Elisha picked up the cloak, walked over to the Jordan River nearby, and hit the water with Elijah's cloak. A cloak is like a jacket. The young prophets from earlier were standing on the other side of the river watching this. Suddenly, when the cloak hit the water split down the middle. Elisha walked across on dry land. Isn't that amazing? Upon seeing this, the entire group of young prophets rushed to meet Elisha. They bowed before him and said, "The spirit of Elijah is now resting on Elisha." The same guys who were telling him to leave Elijah and follow them, now they are following him. Pretty amazing. And Elisha went on to do incredible things for God. He was a prophet who had learned what faithfulness to God was all about. He practiced that faithfulness in his own life, and God rewarded him. So today, we are going to learn all about the importance of faithfulness in your lesson. Listen carefully. It's important that we always be faithful to the end. Now that was an amazing Bible story. I hope I didn't lose y'all with the Elijah and Elisha, but it is true, they're both prophets. All right, now, I'm sorry to say, but this will be our last time seeing Buster, but I know Buster has an amazing power verse for us. Okay, Buster, it's your turn now.
Hey boys and girls, it's me again, Buster, ready to teach you another awesome power verse. You ready, Slappy? I know you's ready. Today's power verse says, "For if we are faithful to the end, trusting God just as firmly as when we first believed, we will share in all that belongs to Christ." Philippians 3:14. Did you see that power verse? It was awesome. Now I need the girls. That's right, girls. Stand on up and say the power verse with me on the count of 3. Ready, girls? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. For if we are faithful to the end, trusting God just as firmly as when we first believed, we will share in all that belongs to Christ. Philippians 3:14. Good job, girls. You can have a seat. Now I need my boys. Come on, lazy bones. All the boys stand up and say the power verse with me and Slappy on the count of 3. Ready, boys? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. For if we are faithful to the end, trusting God just as firmly as when we first believed, we will share in all that belongs to Christ. Philippians 3:14. Good job, y'all. You can have a seat. Boys and girls, today's power verse is all about staying faithful to God all the way to the end. It doesn't matter what happens to you, if you get hit by a meteor, or you're attacked by a family of wild baboons, or you bust your pinky finger. Doesn't matter how bad it is. We gotta stay faithful to God because He stays faithful to us, no matter what. Now that you know that, I want everybody to stand up and say the power verse with me and Slappy on the count of 3. You ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. For if we are faithful to the end, trusting God just as firmly as when we first believed, we will share in all that belongs to Christ. Philippians 3:14. Good job, boys and girls. You can have a seat. Hey, it's been awesome teaching you today's power verse, but you want to know what time it is? It's time to bust stuff. Oh yeah, boys and girls, this is going to be a good one. You want to know why? Because Slappy and I got flower power. You ready? Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Christmas in July!
Thanks, Buster. Thank you for teaching us that wonderful power verse. All right, it is time to move on to our lesson. Faithful to the end. Today, we're learning about faithfulness. We know that God is faithful to us in good times and bad. All right, here's a rock. Anybody have an idea how this rock can describe God's faithfulness to us? Anybody? Well, in Deuteronomy 32:4, it describes God in this way. He is the rock. His deeds are perfect. Everything He does is just and fair. He is a faithful God who does no wrong. How just and upright He is. God is our rock of faithfulness. He stands firm. He is faithful and true to us through good times and bad. That is how each of us should be towards God as well. We learned a lot about that in our Bible story today, didn't we? We learned Elijah was faithful to God. Elijah was a great example of faithfulness. Through the ups and downs of his roller coaster life, Elijah stayed faithful to God. He stayed faithful to God through being fed by ravens, through the death of the widow's son, through the showdown with Baal's prophets on Mount Carmel, and through the weak moments as well. As a result of Elijah's faithfulness, he experienced something that few others of his time got to experience. God rewarded his faithfulness. God rewarded Elijah's faithfulness in many ways. God answered Elijah's prayers. God sent birds to feed him. God performed miracles through him. God helped him to defeat the prophets of Baal. God provided an incredible assistant for him named Elisha. God ultimately rewarded Elijah by taking him to heaven even before he actually died. See, Elijah did not die. He was taken up straight into heaven. That is amazing. God rewarded Elijah for his faithfulness, and as a result, Elijah taught Elisha to be faithful to the end. Elisha watched Elijah's faithfulness and learned the importance of being faithful to the end. He demonstrated this by never leaving Elijah's side. Even when Elijah himself was telling him to leave, Elisha never did. He was faithful. God rewarded his faithfulness by giving him the double portion of God's Spirit that he asked for. Elisha continued to be faithful to God until the end of his life. Faithfulness is so important. Life won't always go the way we plan for it to go. Life is like a roller coaster, full of ups and downs. We must choose to be faithful to God all the way to the end. If we do, he will reward us, just like he did Elijah and Elisha. God is faithful to us, and we must be faithful to him. Faithful to the end. I'm so glad y'all joined me on today's lesson. Sad to say, this is our final lesson of the roller coaster life, but don't worry, more lessons will be coming up. Even more, and I hope that you will enjoy every single one of them. I've enjoyed this series with the roller coaster life. I love learning about Elijah and how God used him and how he showed the people who God is and that God is the real God. Oh, I'm so thankful for this. I know that I have another friend who would like to teach us what's up. So, all right, Skittles, it's your turn now.
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
Ah, yeah, what's up, everybody? It's me, the SKI to the double TLES, Skittles in the hizzy, and I'm ready to tell you what's up. Today, we're talking about how we have got to be faithful to the end. So anytime today somebody asks you what's up, you tell them, I will be faithful to the end. Elijah, he was faithful all the way to the end. All the way to the end whenever he was carried off to heaven in a chariot of fire. Oh man, somebody turn on the air conditioning. It's hot up in this chariot, whoa! Ah yeah, no matter how hot it gets, you can't quit. You gotta be faithful all the way to the end. So anytime somebody asks you what's up, you tell them, I will be faithful to the end. And that's what's up. I got a rainbow of flavor, and I'm living for my Savior. Skittles out, baby, yeah.
Thank you, Skittles, for teaching us that very important lesson, that I will be faithful until the end. I hope that y'all tell yourselves that you will be faithful until the end, and that God is the real God. You put your trust in Him, and He will help you through any situation that you might be facing. Don't forget to call on God in your time of need. All right. Thank you again for joining me on this wonderful series, and I can't wait to get into another one. But remember, our last fun little filled questionnaire with brain drain. Enjoy. Bye for now.
Brain drain.
All right. This will be our last little segment here on with brain drain, but this also finishes our lesson 6 for our theme, 6 lessons for our theme with Elijah. I hope y'all learned a lot about God being faithful and providing. So let's get on to brain drain and see who remembers. What's up? I will never forget. I will always be faithful. I will be faithful to the end. So what is up for today? I will be faithful to the end. All right, good job. Let's go to number 2. What was the name of the roller coaster that Brian rode today? Firefall, Wildfire, or Fire in the Hole? Fire in the Hole, huh? Okay, let's see. It is Wildfire. Good job. Number 3. What was the name of the assistant that Elijah chose? Eliab, Elisha, or Elijah Jr.? I know y'all know this one. Elisha. I mean, we did a really good lesson on both of them. Number 4. Elijah gave Elisha several chances to leave him, but did he? Did Elisha leave Elijah? Yes or no? Yeah, I would know that. No, he did not leave Elijah. Number 5. What did Elisha ask for from Elijah? To borrow money, a new puppy, or a double portion of God's Spirit? Nah, that should be easy, huh? I would go with number 3. A double portion of God's Spirit. That's right. Number 6. Elijah was taken away in a chariot of fire, horses, or gold. Well, I'm pretty sure I remember what that picture looked like. It was a chariot of fire. Yep, God came down and swooped him up and took him up to heaven. Number 7. According to our lesson today, Elijah was blank to God. Close, next, or faithful? Elijah was faithful to God. That's right. He was. Elijah was very faithful to God. Number 8. According to our lesson today, God blank his faithfulness. He rewarded his faithfulness, he saw his faithfulness, or he ignored his faithfulness. I'm pretty sure if you're faithful, God will reward you. So God rewarded his faithfulness. Number 9. According to our lesson today, Elijah taught Elisha to be faithful to blank blank, to his mom, to the end, or to the flag. I'm pretty sure Elijah taught him to be faithful to the end. That is right. And number 10, where was our power verse found? Philippians 3:14, Philippians 4:13, or Philippians 1:34. A whole bunch of little 3, 1s, and 4s mixed up in there. Let's see if you remember which one it is. Philippians 3:14. Good job, everybody. Well, that was our last brain drain for the Elijah theme. So remember to subscribe because there's going to be new lessons popping up and you don't know which one, when, and which ones they're going to be. I'm looking forward to starting a brand new theme with y'all. And I hope y'all are looking forward to continue watching these videos. All right, have a blessed day, everybody.